Welcome to our mini lesson on how to shelve fiction books. Now remember, fiction books are those books that someone thought about it and then wrote it down. It could be horror, romance, fantasy, sci-fi, adventure, suspense, mystery. Your world's your imagination with fiction books. Now how are they placed on the shelf in the library? It's by alphabetical order by the author's first three letters of their last name. So our fiction section will always begin with the first letter of the alphabet, A, and goes all the way to Z. Now, do we just put all the A's together? All the C's together? All the T's? Again, we have to think about our patron. We want to define what they need at a snap of a hand. So we have to put it in an alphabetical order. So let's take a closer look at this S shelf. We do have all the S's together, but notice they're in alphabetical order. In this particular case, we have the SAs, because SAs, again, alphabetical order, goes first. SAN, and it goes all the way to SYL. So look at the first three letters and then alphabetize it. What do we do with a book that the author has more than one book? Like this one, Smajackle. Smajackle has two books. Looks like it's from the same series. Curse of the Divine and Ink in the Blood. How do we put them in order? How do we put them in the shelf? Again, they go by alphabetical order. And in this case, this is the same series, we put the first one of the series first. Book one. And in this case, book one is Ink in the Blood, and Curse of the Divine goes next. So we always try to keep our books in order as series, if possible. Now what happens if it's the same author, it's the same style of book, but it's not really a series? For example, we have American Dog. We got Chester and Star. These are standalone books, and they can just go on the shelf, kind of like Wimpy Kid. What about if we have more than one author's last name? For example, Smith. We have a lot of Smiths. Who goes first? How do we put it on the shelf? In this case, we are going to look at the author's first name. If you look closely, this book is by Crystal Smith. This book is by Ronald Smith. We have another book. This one is by Icy Smith. Now, Smith, again, alphabetical order, but which Smith goes first? Again, alphabetical order, but this time by the author's first name. In this case, Crystal would go first, because Crystal, C, comes before I and R. So we would shelve Crystal first on the shelf, followed by Icy Smith, because I comes before R. And then finally, we would put Ronald Smith, because R comes after I and C. Now, what about those special books? What about Spanish books? What about graphic novels? Those are inner shelved. And how do you know it's a Spanish book? Because above the designation of FIC, you will have S or SP for Spanish. So the call number would be SP for Spanish, FIC for fiction, followed by the three letters of the author's last name. And it's intershelved with the fiction section. What about graphic novels? There's two options for graphic novels. You can intershelve them, like we have here. For example, we have two books that are graphic novels, or comic books as we used to call them back in the day. How do I know the graphic novels? Because if I look at the spine labels, it has GNC for graphic novel, followed by FIC for fiction, and the author's first three letters of their last name. How does it go first? Again, author's last name, Rapp, Adam Rapp, comes before Row, Rainbow Row, R-O-W. So RAP is before ROW, and they're shelved with the other fiction collection because it is a fiction book. It just tells you it's a little bit different because it's a graphic novel. GNC graphic novel, FIC fiction, followed by the author's last name. Option 2 for graphic novels can be pulled into their own little area in the library. This will be the graphic novel section. So if we take a closer look at this shelf, we have all our graphic novels together. Graphic novels, fiction, alphabetized. First letter of the alphabet, in this case ABA, all the way to the last letter in this particular collection would be NEE. Again, alphabetized. Same way we do regular fiction. Alphabetized. If it's the same letter, look at the author's first name to see which one goes first. Again, graphic novel, fiction, last 3 letters of our author's last name. We want to match what's in the catalog. We want to make it easy for our patrons to find what they need on the shelf. So take time to put it in alphabetical order. Stay tuned for our next video on how to shelve nonfiction books.